Very item dependent.
And the last ban is Pantheon, so probably targeting Oshiro right there. But Elise and Rek'Sai both up, but opts for the Rek'Sai. Could be a comfort, could be maybe a secret strategy that they want to invoke, perhaps with the Rek'Sai tunnels.
So we have Lulu getting hovered and Nasus getting hovered.
Interesting. I'm not too familiar yet with what the strategies of these teams might be wanting to.
So Lulu gets locked in, Nasus gets locked in as well.
Interesting. That is most likely going to be Lulu mid, I feel, just because it was locked in first prior to a support. And Lulu mid has been very strong as well at Worlds. In fact, what's the ban rate on Lulu or picker ban rate? It's like 85%, something like that.
It's very, very high.
It's very high. It's second only to like Mordekaiser. So, Lulu she's a great pick right now, and not because she's OP, because she like does tons of damage or something. It's just that her ability to sustain her team and just peel is so
is this the Azir I'm gonna see? Ooh, this is gonna be amazing. Hey, he locks in, yeah, buddy. We're seeing some Azir.
Oh, you guys are in for such a treat. The classic Chocobar Azir play is a spectacle to behold. Take it from somebody who is trolled by this on the daily when we play normals. You're in for a real treat here. Something I do want to comment though, if he takes teleport, I don't like teleport on Azir. I really don't like it. I think you need a defensive summoner spell just because, what are you going to do? You teleport in. Okay, great. You're now in the fight. You're in the middle of a fight. You have no soldiers yet, right? You're just going to ult and then immediately like flash, or that's it. You're just going to ult. And, like, I don't like it. I don't like how a champion that is zone, that is Azir's roles to be a zone mage, just gets teleported like behind a team or like teleports in the middle of a team. I just don't think it's effective.
So my thing with this is that I potentially do not like teleport on the Azir. While it is a meta where you have a lot of global pressure with the double teleports, right. I feel that on a champion like him, it's best to have a defensive summoner spell like either barrier, cleanser, heal, depending on what the opportunity is. And if, let's say, your lane opponent does teleport away and has that low pressure in your bot lane, right? If they teleport away, take their tower. You have to eject a trade.
Exactly.
You have to trade something. And Azir is one of the best mid laners when it comes to taking towers just because of that W damage on the tower.
Exactly.
And the attack speed for Nasus is really good too.
We are going to be seeing the Elise and Blitzcrank pickup. Well, if you're talking early game picks and damage, say no more because those are your two picks to go. Meanwhile, Enter the Matrix is going to be locking in that Vayne as well as the Scion coming out from NYC Tunes. Scion has fallen off. He was that very meta tank top laner, and he still is. His lane harassment has been nerfed a little bit, but you farm up, you just get so tanky that the enemy team just cannot deal with you. And it provides such a strong front line. So I do like this setup from Team Arbok. It is a little on the AD side heavy, but as long as Chocobar is well farmed and manages to stay alive throughout the game, then the AP presence is going to be there. So I think a very strong team fight coming in from Team Arbok has lots of engage, has lots of peel, lots of outplay maneuvering. So I'm excited to see how that works. And for anyone curious, yes, Enter the Matrix is the AD carry from Batch of Ratchets. There was actually some confusion. You are allowed to substitute for other teams if you're a player on a team. You just cannot substitute for a team that is in the same conference as you. Batch of Ratchets is in Demacia. Team Arbok is Noxus. So as long as it's submitted in the roster beforehand, you can have another player substitute for your team, provided that the elos are the same. And hey, look at that, Ashan. We have another Tristana Vayne matchup. So, and then we saw. Well, yesterday you weren't commenting with me, but we saw Sprinkles on his Nasus doing his most famous art piece, that is farm until you're about 600 stacks and start one-shotting AD carries. And nobody else does it just like Sprinkles. So I'm going to be interested to see how Kogai manages to show off his own Nasus skills and see how he can do.
I always wondered, is it that scary to have a Blitzcrank with Whimsy running towards you?
Add a righteous glory and a talisman, and we'll be in business. Speed Racer Blitzcrank.
Whimsy Nasus? Anyone?
Ooh, I
Whimsy
like it.
Nasus? That actually sounds disgusting. I'm just thinking about it.
I don't like the Nasus pick. I mean, the Nasus pick was first. So okay, it's not that I don't like the Nasus pick. It's I like Team Arbok's response to the Nasus pick. Because, what is Nasus going to do in a team fight? He wants to reach Azir and he wants to reach Vayne, right? Cool.
Hmm.
But what does he have to go through? Howling Gale, Monsoon, the Azir Ultimate, I forgot what it's called.
Emperor's Divide.
Emperor's Divide, thank you. Scion Q, Scion Ult, Scion E, Vayne Condemn. Like, you're never going to reach that backline if you're this Nasus, unless you get, like, the best flank NA's ever seen. So at that point, you're relegated to two options. Either A, you're just a frontline bruiser who just like smacks the daylights out of Distract Scion and hope your team does more damage, or B, you just split push and destroy towers with like 3 auto attacks because Nasus is broken like that. So interested to see how this team works out. In terms of tank busting, I completely give the advantage to Team Arbok. Just Azir Vayne, the DPS that those two champions can pull out is absolutely absurd. They'll still shred through a Blitzcrank Elise Nasus far quicker than a Nasus Elise Tristana will shred through a Rek'Sai Scion.
Speaking of broken, I'm actually surprised no one decided to pick up Fiora. She was open. I feel that Fiora is really good into Nasus if that was what their top winner wanted to pick, because for one reason or another, you can parry Nasus with her.
That is so broken. Want to know what is? Well, let me bring up. Okay, let me follow that point up then. Why didn't anyone pick Mordekaiser?
That's true. Maybe teams have been practicing it or something.
That's the thing. I think Fiora is so strong right now, and as a top laner, like I play top lane most of my games. I don't even I have barely touched her. Okay, to be honest, I don't even own her, but that's an excuse. I would love to own her and get better at her, but I feel like I've been seeing this in solo queue a lot as well. Just teams, random players, just picking up OPs because they're OP, right? Flavor of the month champions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should play Fiora if you don't know what you're doing, right? You either need to be very aware and know how to play the map well and just split push, which then doesn't require many, much mechanics, which is fine. Or you have to be really good at her mechanics and know when to lunge, when to use her riposte, when to, go in and out of fights. That's basically the two ways, right? You either a good team fight Fiora or you're a good split Fiora. And the best Fioras are both. So if you're not comfortable doing either one of those or both, then you really honestly should not pick that champion. Because behind Fiora, the funny thing is that for the most part in Worlds, I would say about 90% of the Fiora games, the Fiora has always gotten ahead, right? Has always gotten ahead. Marin, Smeb, they've always gotten ahead on the Fiora. The one time Soas picked Fiora, he was behind, and look, he had absolutely no impact. Behind Fiora, they don't apply CC. They don't, there's no wombo combo. There's no nothing. It's just a really lackluster damage champion if you're behind.
And you have the AoE heal, which is pretty hard to get off just because you have to kill that target.
Exactly.
Or knock off all the vitals, which is pretty hard to do if you're behind as well.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. We apologize for the technical errors. We hope that it didn't distract you all too much, but we're going to be getting into the loading screen here and into the game. On the blue side, it is going to be Team Arbok. In the top lane, NYC Tunes. In the jungle, Oshio Shiro. In the mid lane is the captain, Chocobar. AD carries the substitute in this game, Enter the Matrix. And on support, Uchihara Doma. And on the red side is going to be Team Young Bronze. In the top lane, Kogoi. In the jungle is the captain, US Economy. In the mid lane, Flywalker. AD carry, Nightmare. And on support is the God Crank himself making the appearance, Char333. We got to see a God Crank yesterday. Not the most impressive of showings, but I'm still optimistic that we will see some incredible God Crank mechanics.
So when it comes to God Crank, in this matchup, Janna versus Blitzcrank is very good for Blitz, just only if he lands the hook. If he doesn't land the hook, by all means he's fucked. If he does land the hook, then it's really, really good because there's not much any of them can do.
To be fair,
once that hook doesn't land.
Is that not all Blitzcrank things? If you don't land the hook, you're in trouble.
Depends on the support. Like if it's like a really tanky support, because if you hook like Braum, Thresh, Alistar, Leona into you, you end up still losing the trade just because of what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, you should never ever grab an Alistar into your team. Don't
Please grab an Alistar into your team. In fact, we would love it if you would do that. That'd be. We promise you'll be in a highlight reel for Intralol. It might not be. It might not be the top plays highlight reel, but there will be a highlight reel, and you will be involved in it, and we will thank you. I believe we're still waiting on the Lulu here to connect, but looking into this game, early game, I hands down have to give the early game to Young Bronze, even though they have an Asus. Just Blitzcrank Elise alone screams, we're going to invade or we're going to apply so much early pressure, and you guys are not going to be able to do anything about it. Kudos to the Janna pickup here. The Howling Gale will stop, any invade or any like direct rush that they might, that Young Bronze might seek to do. So that's the way I expect this first few minutes of the laning phase to go. Will basically just be standard lanes, farming, and at least maybe US economy, very experienced jungler looking to harass, if not invade, on this Rek'Sai and try and get maybe a buff steal or an early kill. Of course, Rek'Sai, one of the benefits, and people always say Elise is so much better than Rek'Sai. That Elise is the super tier, and then Rek'Sai is like top tier, like tier A, for example. And for the most part, I agree in that. Elise has so much more damage, has more control, but Rek'Sai brings more utility, right? You can get across the map faster. You can you just move overall faster around the map than Elise does. And you have the Tremor Sense. And I feel like that's such an underrated passive because you're basically giving your entire team free wards over a wall or free wards in an area just by being there, right? And that's something that I feel is underrated.
Speaking of jungle diversity, I'm surprised we've seen a lack of Lee Sins ever since the first week.
It takes a special type of player to have Lee syndrome, man. You gotta find the balance. Ladies and gentlemen, we are into the game. Please let us know who you think is going to win this fun-filled match. On the blue side is that... I was about to say young Team Arbok. Is the young Team Arbok. Yeah, hashtag Arbok win if you feel they're going to win. Or on the red side, the young Team Bronze. Hashtag young if you think they're going to win. Let us know in the Twitch chat. We're excited to see what you think. And we don't have statistics in, so we won't be able to tell you, but maybe we can count it if we're quick enough. Here comes the invade, though, from Young Bronze on the Young Ward.
Twitch chat is amusing to me because they said, well, if the Bliss pulls Sion into their team, that's going to be hilarious, but we're going to see he's going to be able to get a pull here. So our team is looking to do this invade right now.
Pull.
All the pings are happening around the map, so now Team Arbok knows they're here because they have 5 people on top of the war, so they know where they are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not sure if Young Bronze knows that they know.
Pull the Sion into the. What else you guys got? Twitch chat. What else you got? Maybe pull a Azir into the team, but then Azir ults all of them into a Sion ultimate or something like that.
Not sure if Young Bronze knows.
That'd be really funny. So the invade is going to be repelled. Nice early warding and good game sense coming out from Team Arbok to quickly pick up on that potential. But we are seeing the Rek'Sai invade. They have lots of ward coverage, so they should be relatively safe here. Kogoi, I don't think is going to spot this. We're going to find out right now. Blue team does know that this match is just coming.
Oh, okay, so they know that they're doing the red. He couldn't get the last auto off on the...
I think he should still do it.
Trinket. Yeah, they should have still did it. I would most definitely still did it.
Oh. This is such a mistake.
That's unfortunate. You just wasted their time right there.
Oh, this is a huge waste of time. Oshio Hero is going to be so far behind now on this Rek'Sai.
That could have gotten the red buff, could have gotten some experience for the Sion. I'm not sure why they stopped.
I mean, yes, your first instinct is, oh my god, we've been found, right? Like, we've been caught, right? But you had, the wards just ran out, but you had vision. You had 2 wards placed down. You had vision. You would have known if Elise or somebody else was coming. You should have done the red buff. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Nasus is going to start poking you with his 0 stack Q. Oh my lord, that's going to be such a detriment to your plan. Come on. So good game sense from Kogoi to get that ward. He just, not only did he save US Economy's red buff, but he just completely set Oshiro behind him. Enter the
There's
Matrix.
a knock-up along with the explosive charge onto the Vayne.
Showing absolutely no fear. Char 33, or the Char 333, excuse me, has the hook back up though, so we're gonna see how this works out. In the mid lane, Chocobar just putting in a little pressure, and the NYC team's doing a good job harassing Kogoya on his Nasus. He's taking a lot of damage, not opting for the standard cloth 5 instead of a Doran Shield and a health pot. I actually don't like the Doran Shield against a Sion. Sion has so much AoE, that's relatively worth this item, to be completely honest with you.
I feel like he got it just off of the Q damage, I want to say.
Yeah, as a Sion player, this is a really good matchup. You can actually kill the Nasus relatively easy, especially if he doesn't take cloth 5. All you need to do is level your Q and just place your Q.
Oh, he said the Nasus guy. I thought you meant the Silent guy, but he's getting ganked at the moment with a red buff slow. Taking onto him. The Cocoon does land. That's a lot of early game damage going onto the Silent. That is first blood for Elise.
I'm curious, was the NYC Tunes' ward still down from the early invade? No, it was up, so just a misplay there, not warding your lane. Very nice early game for US Economy, but as I was saying, from the side of NYC Tunes on the side, all you need to do is level your Q and place your Q on top of the minions that the Nasus is going to last hit, and then he has a choice, right? He can either get the +3 on his stack, but then he takes a lot of damage, or he just doesn't farm. So it's a very favorable lane early on.
And yeah, that's not the only thing. But Elise is back here again for the second gank. Will the Cocoon be able to land? But Nasus is taking a lot of damage, and Cocoon does land. That is going to be another kill, and this one goes down to the Nasus. But will he be able to kill him with his passive? That's one auto attack. He gets slowed by red buff, can't catch up.
Okay, well, that's that's exactly how you don't want to have this lane go out. And that's exactly why you also never want to teleport back immediately into the lane. If you just get ganked, you should never assume, unless you have vision of this happening, you should not assume that the jungler left, right? Because what's the most probable thing? If the jungler is low health, yeah, he'd probably back. But because you clearly saw that the Jonas Economy had almost a full health bar after the game, you can assume he's going to stay topside and do a camp or two, because he can.
You have to look at where the minion wave is too, because if it's like frozen after you TP back in, it's also even worse for you.
Exactly. So, NYC 2 is just misplaying the map here, not maybe some team communication just coming out from Team Arbok, just not fully aware of where the US Economy may be at the moment. And this is a level 5 Elise, 5.5 minutes into the game, so that's a strong Elise.
Speaking of champion matchups, though, Tristana does have the variable matchup into the Vayne just because she outranges her after level 1 and onwards.
Nice hook.
If Vayne also tries to like engage onto Tristana, Tristana can just ult her away and just end that fight. Just so much self-heal from the Tristana against the Vayne.
That's true. Credit to Enter the Matrix, though. He has a CS lead in this somewhat of a mismatch of lane advantage towards the Tristana.
This is true.
Down a health potion, though, so we're going to see if that does make a difference for the remainder of the lane. But it does not appear like Nightmares is willing to posture aggressively. US Economy, though, on this... Ooh, nice condemn. Very cheeky stun.
Also CS difference in the mid lane, too.
Chocobar, very experienced mid laner. We've seen in the very neat articles being written by our media team highlighting his experience in the mid lane. And, just his overall shot calling and his presence in the mid lane is very aggressive, very proactive, knows how to get an advantage from any situation.
Oh, Blitzcrank looking to hard engage right now because Elise is here for this gank. Will the Cocoon be able to land? The flashes come out, then the Vayne dodges both the hook and the Cocoon and will live during this gank.
Oh, that is very unfortunate. Both kill shots missing, but still, relatively worthwhile. You blow the flash on and the exhaust, so you can always come back later and get the return kill. But US Economy finding the gaps in the vision of Team Arbok, going the long way.
I believe he's looking to go for a gank on Azir now in the mid lane. He's posturing for it right now, and Rek'Sai is in the vicinity, probably looking for this gank to happen as well. Looking this will be a potential counter gank from the Rek'Sai as Chocobar trying to do his best to get there, but he gets polymorphed, and he's gonna... Oh, he stays alive, finishes it off. And there's a fight happening in the bottom lane as well, with the jump getting interrupted by the Giant Tornado as the fight rages on in mid lane with Elise finishing off Chocobar. The tower shot hits her. Will Rek'Sai be able to finish her off as a nerf fight happens in the top lane as well? But Rek'Sai tunnels over the wall, shoots out the Q. Will she be able to finish her off? Here is the move speed. She tunnels for armor. Elise walks away. Will she be able to repel to a minion in her lane? Where can she go? She dodges the next Q, and that's withers the Rek'Sai. And it at least saves the day.
Unbelievable. NYC Tunes just not paying attention to the map here. Could have easily just come down and gotten the kill. And Oshiro getting completely just feeling flabbergasted. He had the Prey Seeker. Easy kill right there, but just...
Yeah, I'm surprised. That was very good dodging by the Elise on the Rex IQ.
Great Elise play coming here, showing some mastery on this early game champion. And this is a scary Elise, man. 2-0-0, Runeglaive at 8 minutes. Holy guacamole. That's going to be a lot of damage.
Man, I was expecting, like, the repel to, like, something for an escape. I was not expecting that would have to happen at all.
The young Nasus Wither drive-by. Just, here you go, buddy. You're good. Very impressive play coming out, though. Kudos to Chocobar with the outplay. He almost died. It was a very good...
this looks like to be a potential solo kill onto the side. He doesn't have any mana to help him at all right now.
No ultimate either.
But he has Flash.
It's gonna be close.
Oh, the Ghost gets popped by the Scion. He uses his ultimate as well. He flashes away, but the auto attack still registers.
He's good. Guy's got it.
He gets Wither, and he's unable to finish off the job.
Oh, you can wither the... I did not know that. I did not know you could wither the Scion passive.
Yeah, you can do like any form of calc control to it.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's pretty hilarious.
Very unfortunate there. And very nice heads-up play in Koga, knowing when he can go for y'all, and noticing that the Scion was at as well. Oshiro trying to make a play happen, but won't be able to. US Economy, though.
We used the overdrive to get close.
Vayne without Flash.
The jump onto the Vayne was so short, and the nice hook onto the Vayne as well. Will this be enough damage to kill her? The ult finishes her off.
Buster shot. That was perfectly played. You know, Uchiha Domo landed a great monsoon, but the US Economy managed to channel the cocoon cast before the monsoon hit. So even though he got pushed back, he still managed to connect the cocoon. That was perfect play coming out from Team Young Bronze, and you could tell that, you know, this early game strategy.
Oh, the hook does land onto Janet. She goes down with a reset, going for Tristana as she jumps forward, but can't do anything more. So they're looking to do Dragon off of this play.
It should be the Dragon for sure.
So as I was mentioning from before, Tristana, a very favorable matchup into the Vayne. As you see, she has so much range over the Vayne.
You know, kudos to Nightmare XZ here. He is behind in farm, but he did manage to get that BF sword, and that's all you need to be able to burst down a Vayne like this. So very nicely played from, you know, all around across the map. Great play by Team Young Guns. Flywalker falling in behind severely in CS though. 10 minutes he's down by about 40 CS, but you know, he is that Lulu. You know, all you gotta do is get the Athenians, just get some AP and just be a utility champion for your main carries, and you'll be okay. So I'm not, you know, while the CS deficit is large in favor of Chocobar, in favor of Team Arbok in the mid lane, I'm not too worried about it. It is a Lulu. You know, you can still get your job done. Spending a little time up here in the top lane just to investigate. That is 162 stacks thus far on this Nasus at 11 minutes, so doing pretty well so far.
Oh, he's looking to go for aggressively onto the Scion right now.
Scion does have ultimate. They could dive Scion as well top. US Economy could come up top here and could see a potential dive. Going to be seeing where he just has to go after he takes his Raptor camp though. And in the bot lane, once again, Nightmare XC coming back with a pickaxe now added on top of that BF sword. Still trailing by about 20 CS. So despite the kill advantage, the 5 kills advantage to Young Bronze, you know, the CS deficit's keeping this game relatively close. So kudos to Enter the Matrix and to Chocobar for, you know, trying their best to gain whatever advantage they can from their lanes. Shira taking the double tunnel.
Oh, he's looking to be the aggressor on here. He does have red buff, but the Lulu comes to back up the Rex side, and they just have to disengage that. Hook misses on the bottom lane. It's just a casual farm fest right now.
Intimidating. That's the warning shot that they get, you know? the next hook is gonna get you, man.
It's all about saying a message.
The intimidation tactic. You're right, the farm fest does continue. Ooh, almost there.
Oh, they're being aggressors right here because the hook did miss, so they can potentially just kite. But at least looking to do this tower dive. The ghost gets popped. The Cocoon gets landed as well, and that's enough damage to finish off Sion. And both top and jungle. Oh, but here's a fight happening on the bottom lane with Lulu getting Azir insect back into the middle lane. That is the end of the Lulu.
Flywalker. Oh, that does manage to land the ultimate, and the wild growth does keep him alive briefly, but that's not what you want to do. Oh, 1 second. Enter the Matrix, switch lane to condemn, charge briefly.
The ult comes down to the Vayne. That's the end of that. Like I mentioned from before, if Vayne ult tries to play the aggressor, you just ult her away and she can't do anything. Too short range.
Very well played. Here goes Rek'Sai though. Potential dive coming in here. There is no vision on this. Charlie 333, maybe not placing a ward. Very good preemptive guess there. That's a very good.
Nashor's 2 complete for a 0 off of that play.
This is US economy. If this counter dive does happen, this is going to be an incredibly strong play. Although, remember what I talked about, that passive, the Tremor Sense, does reveal US economy without even needing a ward. So, kudos to Shiro does get out of there in time. But man, Kogori, I just want to talk about that very briefly. 2 things I want to talk about. One, Kogori, blocking NYC Toons' ultimate. If you're fighting a Sion...
Oh, the hook does land. It seems that's going to be the end of Janna. She does pop the Monsoon, but it's just not going to be enough.
And there's a charge. Goodbye.
So, as I mentioned before, there's all this early aggression coming from the Elise as Rek'Sai meets her just a little too late. She's buying her right now, but she at least does have the help. The Summary Heal gets popped out for her for whatever reason. I'm not sure why.
Maybe they felt that the Vayne was going to tumble in instead of auto. I guess it's a better to be safe than sorry situation. But right, before I get, and before any more team actions come out, basically, if you see a Sion, if you're going to kill him and he's running away, stand in front of him, block the ultimate. That was really good. Second point, Flywalker in the mid lane. You never want to flash over the wall of the Azir to get back to your tower, right? Because you have his soldiers behind the wall. So you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to get slowed and die. What he should have done was, after he wild growth and got pushed away in the center of the lane, his jungler, US economy, was on the top side. You need to whimsy and flash towards your jungler, not towards your turret, because you're going to die to the soldiers. Flash towards your jungler and just run towards your jungler, because that'll dissuade any follow-up, and then he would have lived.
Speaking of whimsy, did he use it already for polymorph or no?
I'm not sure. I would have to look back. Even if he didn't have whimsy, though, he could have flashed, because at the time, both Oshihiro and Chocobar were behind the Emperor's Divide, right? So if he had flashed away from both of them, he would have been fine. Or at the very least, it would have required Chocobar to use both summoners to get that kill. Oh, Enter the Matrix, so posturing aggressively does force Nightmare XU to use that rocket jump away.
Yeah, how do you feel about the Sion animation, this itemization in this situation? Because he is rushing the Warmongs instead of a Frozen Heart.
I don't like it a lot. In fact, I don't like it at all, to be honest. You need armor. This Nasus damage is just going to get worse and worse and worse. And if he decides to go Trinity Force, which is something a lot of, solo queue King Nasus, like Searchers, for example, like to do, Sprinkles as well likes to take Trinity Force on Nasus as well, then you also need some magic resistance.
He also needs an extra mana on Sion because he is going a lot.
Yeah. I do think it's up to you in this case if you want to go towards another button. But once
he's in a little trouble situation. Dodges the Cocoon, and Blitzcrank comes for the roam as well, and has a 3-man Emperor's Divide. But Rek'Sai still into the fray. She looks like she's gonna die, but she tunnels away to avoid the grab, and that's gonna be another dragon for the red team.
Very nice Emperor's Divide to stay alive. Gonna be seeing if we can take the steal though. Chocobar is gonna be placing the soldier here. The Rise is coming in. Here comes the steal attempt from Oshihiro. Oshihiro
Dragon goes to Elise, and Oshio does go down, and Sion seems that he will potentially get 1v1 in the top lane. The Ghost gets popped, and that is the end of him as well. Astra Sun tries to go after Vayne. Will Blitzcrank, they won't proceed to chase her even more, but Janna right by her side. It seems that after taking the Dragon, red team's going to look to take the Volunteer Tower as well.
Crazy sequence of events there. As valiant as the effort was there from Oshio, ooh, nice checking there with the, what's the name of that ability? I don't even know. Volatile Spiderling, I think?
Yeah.
Volatile Spider, something like that? Yeah. So very nice ward or brush checking using that ability there. To go back to the Dragon Steal attempt, it's in the least, right? Smite, not neurotoxin, that's the, is that the uniform version? The venomous smite, whatever it is that deals the execute damage, that does so much damage.
Oh, the Condemn does land onto Elise. Will she go down as Janna gets grabbed? But she gets Cocoon as well, and Vayne trying to go down as a teleport goes in, and Sion misses the Q, but will he use his ultimate? Elise goes down. Will Blitzcrank go down as well as the teleport comes from the red team as well as Nasus trying to come through. Will he be able to do anything?
Flywalker.
Oh, Flywalker. Oh, it was his right. I thought it was... Oh, Nasus is split pushing top.
Ooh, Chocobar almost getting that cheeky kill right there. 60 health left on the big thing.
As a loss for a tier 2 tower, it's going to be a lot of map pressure given up for that run from the Scion.
And this is so dangerous. Now you get this Nasus in the free lane. Check this out, level 13 Nasus 18 minutes into the game, right? Level 13 has 387 stacks now on his Q. 143 CS. Will back most likely already be able to buy that Spirit Visage flat when he double charges gold. Yeah, he can buy Spirit Visage flat just like that. So this Nasus is going to get a lot of CDR very quickly and be stacking even faster. And by the way, another reason why you absolutely do not want to rush Warmogs first is look at the passive, right? Restores the health, restores health if you have at least 3,000 health. One moment, I'll get back to this in a second. Charge CC3 does manage to land all 3 of his abilities. Will it be enough damage? The Busker shot. Oh, the heal and the Monsoon coming in just at the clutch times. Enter the Matrix living barely. But yeah, back to the Warmog passive. The reason this is not an item you buy first item is because you don't even have the passive right now. You need at least 3,000 health in order to get Warmog's Heart, which is the benefit, which is you restore a lot of health quickly if you're not in combat. But you need 3,000 health at the time to get that. Currently, Sion's only sitting at 2350. You're not going to get that much health until you have at least a Randuin's.
Seems like he's looking to build a Frozen Heart now instead of before.
Then that's even going to delay it further. Warmog's armor is something you buy 3rd at the earliest. Usually you buy 4th and 5th.
As an item, I feel like it's only really good if you're fighting against poke compositions just because of the extra HP regen you get from it.
Or if like you're facing like a Darius, something with a lot of true damage. But either way, you wouldn't rush the item. You don't build it first, ever. It's just very inefficient. You're not as tanky. You know, your one job is to shine. Yeah, you have a lot of fire control, that's great. But your one job is mainly just be a raw. Be this thing that, oh, nice cheeky peek in there. Won't follow up at first, I'm not sure. But, you know, as a Scion, your role is to just be this rock, this frontline tank that just does not die for anything. And, you know, currently, with a Warmog's armor, I'm going to say that this is a pretty squishy Scion. Like, think about it. You could have a Randuin's right now, probably not have died one of your attempts because you had Randuin's instead of Warmogs, and you probably have as well Ninja Tavis, right? Then this Nightmare XC Tristana went, ooh, hook lands, 1 second, we see a dive.
Oh, the flash Azir insect into his tower. Will this be a win for the blue team as the Tornado walks onto Tristana, Pulse Pain away as Lulu tries her best to Whimsy and run away. That was a really good Azir ulti.
Amazing Azir ultimate coming out there. Will be backing as he is but saves the play of Shiro. Will be living from that grab. An amazing Azir ultimate coming out from Chocobar. And, you know, that's the threat. That's that threat of posturing near a turret.
Oh, the Tornado knocks him up, but they were not able to do anything more.
Both sides kind of licking their wounds there from that last engagement. Slight victory there to Team Arbok. And, you know, despite being down 6 kills, it's only about a, what, 4,000 gold lead? That's manageable, right? It's definitely a sizable lead in favor of Young Bronze, but it's not the end of the world. Especially if you're Team Arbok right here with a Vayne, Janna, Azir. You can win these late game team fights. You just have to play them well. And you keep scaling.
All I know is that for this game, it's really good that Chocobar is building Rally's Crystal Scepter next on Azir, because they really need the slows to help them kite against the Nasus. That's gonna be a really big problem once Nasus starts entering these team fights.
It could potentially be Rabadons, but I'm gonna give him the benefit here and say yes, that's probably a Rally. I don't think you normally you don't even go second item Rabadons on Azir. Oh, nice Howling Gale there. Char 333 trying to get the hook. Can't even make it. Both teams waiting for this Dragon Spawn. 10 seconds left on the clock. But neither team really having entire control of the vision around the pit. Right now, just a few wards in the left side of the river from Team Arbok. And Young Bronze actually having no wards at all. Completely blind in that area.
So the dragon is spawning. There's a lot of pings going onto it for it right now. So Nasus is a little separated from this team, but we're going to see how blue team decides to position themselves for this, because I'm trying to see if they're going to look to actually contest this dragon, because I feel they have the potential to,
and
depending on what they can do, but it seems it's going to go down to the red team.
Nice cute attempt to steal there, but once again, I keep telling you, the Venomous Spite / Smite combo from Elise does so much damage. You'd have to outsmite around, give or take, 1,300, right? More or less on the amount of damage. You can do 1,300, 1,200, something like that.
So red team's going to continue to siege it. It can't do it because they do have Tristana with the exposure shot and the Nasus back damage as well. But the teleport coming in from the Scion, he does get a flash ult in, and the fight rages on as a team all together. Kites out Nasus. But what will happen towards the rest of the fight as Tristana does her best to run away? Will blue team be able to get anything off of killing Nasus? There's a talisman after coming out, but it seems they aren't able to quite follow up, and they're just going to look to siege the tower. So as we mentioned from before, kind of the team compositions, that this is a team composition that can kite a Nasus. You have Vayne, you have Azir, you have Janna. It is really, really easy and simple for them to kite him because all their ults just have all these knockback effects or some type of self-peel that can just get rid of him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be seeing a pause here. A little respite from the action, if you will. It looks like it was... Oh, okay. Well, so much for that respite. We're going to be going right back into the action. I guess that was just maybe a minor, I don't know, internet issue or maybe some mouse difficulties. But we are going to be seeing Team Arbok taking their first mid-turret of the game. In fact, their second turret in total of the game as the bottom turret starts to end. The lead, though, staying about even. Still about a 3,500, 4,000 gold lead in favor of Young Bronze. So, you know, good sequence of events coming there from Team Arbok to stop the snowball from Young Bronze. But now I'm going to look towards them to continue to get these advantages in team fights, get the vision that they need around these neutral objectives. You're playing with a very control-oriented team comp on the side of Team Arbok. You need to have the vision to back that up. Because the last thing you want is for a Blitzcrank hook to grab one of your squishies randomly, or for a Nasus to get a flame on your team. Because yes, you have the Emperor's Divide, and yes, you have Monsoon, but you only have, you only have one of them, right? So if you have to use it immediately at the start of a fight, then the rest of Young Bronze, at least the Blitzcrank can just dive in. 25 minutes into the game, though, looking at the items across the board, Spirit Visage completed 4 Kugari on this Nasus. Building the Trinity Force third, as we've been seeing very popularly. Sprinkles as well likes to do this on his Nasus. 537 stacks on this Q, 25.5 minutes into the game. This Nasus is going to be putting on so much hurt.
The Random's Omen just finished for the Rek'Sai. We also have the Rylai's on the Azir as well. Stag Shiv on the Vayne, along with the Elise getting some additional armor protection. It probably is going to be either a Randuin or a Frozen Heart. We'll see that next component in due time. Checking
out the CS, though, both AD carries actually struggling to keep up in farm, probably due to the amount of rotations and map play that we've been seeing. Chocobar in the lead in CS in the entire game, 220 CS, doing a great job keeping ahead of himself. Almost gets the interrupt there.
I'm surprised that didn't stop her back, because I actually saw her health bar go down.
Me too. It's like one of those last minute frames that just unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember when it came to that type of thing, Riot made a fix in that patch where they made it consistent, where if you were to hit someone, I believe in the .1, well, that doesn't matter right now because we have a fight happening right here. As we pick off Nasus, the Emperor's Divide separates him from his team, and that looks like a really good pick for the blue team. And will they look to potentially do a Baron?
Well, that's one way to deal with an Nasus. You get 5 people to use their ult to make it. I don't see why not. I'm actually very surprised. I think they should be going for this Baron right now. That's basically the entirety of the front line of Young Bronze. Char333, yeah, kudos to him. He's actually building a Frozen Heart, and he'll be relatively tanky against the Vayne, but he has no MR, and neither does enter the neither does Zeus economy. So Chocobar actually with these soldiers would deal so much damage. I think this was a missed opportunity. I think at the very least they should have threatened the Baron. Maybe they were afraid because that they didn't have the Emperor's Divide, but you know, that ultimate is for the most part only for Nasus, right? So as long as Nasus isn't there, I think he would win the fight. Chocobar respecting Charlie 333, the young Blitzcrank Cook, is the deadliest. The unseen Blitzcrank Cook is the deadliest. As spoken by Azad in a normal game. Young Bronzo posturing around the Baron, clearing out as much vision as they can. They have missed that one ward though. That's unfortunate. That's why you want to always have 2 pink wards, one in the bush that Yo's Economy and Nightmare X currently are standing in, and one right outside the Baron Pit, or inside the Baron Pit. That way you can get coverage of that entire area.
Yeah, that ward from Arbok, like, this ward right here is literally the best ward you can possibly have for Baron.
Exactly. Because unless you have the double pink ward, or unless you actively look to stand in that spot, you're not going to find it. It's a really good ward.
Blitzcrank uses the overdrive, we'll be able to get a pick.
A little bit too far out of his reach, though. You know, the gold staying relatively even, about 3,000 gold lead in the favor of Young Bronze. So that means that the bleeding has stopped from, you know, Team Arbok has stopped their own, they did the bleeding. Team Arbok has stopped the bleeding and has stopped the increased gold lead. Although here comes the engage onto US Economy. Enter the Matrix Death Gate between Kogoi, posturing in front. Here comes the teleport coming in from NYC Tunes. Here comes the team fight, though. This is the ultimate. You're supposed to charge the Buster Shot. We'll shoot them back. Kogoi trying to land as much as he can. Huge monsters coming in. The Emperor!
The 4-man Emperor survived!
The amazing play from that will go down. Chocobar going huge in the team fight. Single-handedly turning the tides. Flywalker doing what he can to get away. Oshiro will stop getting chased. This is definitely going to be Dragon Ed, probably more, to be honest. They could probably at least get a mid-turret after this if they rotate fast enough.
Easy Hoon, is that you?
Zero ultimate coming in. Chocobar! Why can't you play a Zero like this in normal? Where has this been all this time?
You know, he's been secretly playing on his Smurf account, playing nothing but Azir. He says Azir only your feed.
He's been training with Phoenix. 4-1-5, 243 CS. The captain of Team Arbok, keeping his team strong in this game, and they are going to be taking what looks to be a free Baron after an amazing team fight play. And this is going to even up the gold. In fact, now Team Arbok is in the lead, and we're going to be tracking this Baron power play as the game goes on. But let me ask you, Sean, right now, if you're Team Young Bronze, what do? You have the scaling competition that's now beating you in team fights. What is your response to this?
If I was Team Young Bronze, what I would look at is my win conditions for this game. So one of your win conditions is Nasus split push, because they have to send at least 2 people to handle that.
That's true.
Sion can't 1v1 him. That has been like established for among this game.
Established.
So they're gonna have to send 2 people for that, and when he split pushes, Young Bronze has to do whatever they can in order to apply pressure along the map elsewhere for either tower damage and then rotate, and then as they rotate, they have to get picks as they rotate too, because they have Blitzcrank, Elise. That's perfect for making picks with the Cocoon and the Rocket Grab, along with Tristana's burst damage. You also have Lulu's Whimsy, which helps with the rotational picks as well. Another thing you have to look at for Young Bronze is that they have 3 dragons. If they can get 2 more dragons, they can get the 5th dragon and potentially win a fight off of 5th dragon's bonus damage. So 5th dragon comes out in the next 12 minutes. So we're looking at Young Bronze having to last this game for 12 more minutes, at least. Well, it's a minimum of 12 minutes, because I'm pretty sure Dragon's going to be spawning soon eventually.
Right. So, Young Arbok. So Team Arbok here, setting up the Sun Disc in the mid-turret, showing they're not afraid to back. They're not going to be backing down. They're not afraid of the Young Bronze damage threats. And they're going to start sieging onto this mid-turret. The soldier is doing a great job damage. And there's the first tower. What are we expecting 3rd item or 4th item out of the Azir here? Is that going to be a Rabadon or a Void Stuff?
Yeah, most likely a Death Cap, because he has the large rod. If they didn't have the large rod, then it will probably have been a Void.
It's going to be a lot of damage coming out of this.
Personally, for me, I probably would have went Void Staff 3rd just because of Nasus' Visage.
That's true. Although you do have the range, right? The 3 damage will be dealing with the Nasus. And, you know, to Chocobar's credit.
We have the Scion coming in. He knocks out the Blitzcrank who eventually goes down. Nasus looking to do something, but he gets kited by the Emperor's Divide. The Nashor's Tooth rallies damage and the slows going onto me. He just can't quite do anything in these fights.
Lesser Shot does manage to keep his teammate alive, but this is going to be the inhibitor going down for Team Young Bronze, and Team Arbok confidently showing up and taking charge. Thus far, 3,000 gold earned from the Baron power play, or at least a 3,000 gold lead established. And the Young Farm Alarm going up top side. West side going to be picking up that juicy farm. Just kidding. He wanted to make a quick wine and dine of the romp there before he heads back to base. But yeah, just Kogoi unable to find a split lane, unable to, push out a lane by himself, just being dragged around by the enemy team. And things are not looking good for Young Bronze. They need to figure out, they need to get their vision established. Now that the Baron is done, they need to get vision established around the next dragon as soon as they can and keep that vision up. Because that is, I agree with you. At this point, I think that's their only win condition, is getting that fifth dragon. And with an inhibitor turret down, thankfully it's the bot side, so it's not too difficult to push out the bot side and keep a team postured around dragon because the lanes are so close to each other, or the two areas are close to each other. So I am going to be interested to see just how the rotational play comes out from Team Young Bronze here.
And Chance, like you mentioned, how the Nasus just gets kited really, really hard from the scene composition. You're right, we have Emperor's Divine, Monsoon, Vein Condemn, and Final Hour is just, what can Nasus do? You really can't do anything. Can't deal damage, can't even get in winter range, but the hook does land on side, but he just walks away from it.
Twitch chat, you had your moment right there. MIC teams could have ulted, could have had a great time. I think if they stop the backs, if they can hold, I think Young Bronze can actually hold this turret long enough to trade. Okay, Char 3333, that's not the person you want to be ulting. Or excuse me, grabbing. Oh, the damage coming in the Emperor's Divide, not even needed. Nightmare actually trying to do what he's can. Kogoi in the top lane, trying to split push. Nightmare actually does get picked off. This is going to be the game.
Oh, but D-Kane is split pushing, and we have Azir backing to stop the split push, but what will blue team do? Will they just keep sieging? If I was blue team, I would look to potentially try to end the game right here.
Why is Chocobo backing? This is a mistake. They can just end the game.
There's 10-second death timers. It looks like they can potentially end the game. That's the Azir soldier damage, along with the Vayne auto attack damage with the Janus shield as well. DK trying to do something, but he's just about to get kited by the whole entire blue team. He's attacking Silent, but Chocobar will finally be shut down. Enter the Matrix, though, finally landing the last auto attack on the Nexus. GG. And a hashtag word for Chocobar does manage to propel his team through these team